my TOK presentation on maths, a TOK class between Professor Winnie and his IB class. Today we are learning about the differences of knowledge in maths and in science.
So what are these differences between the two areas of knowledge?
Well, mathematics distinguishes itself from science in that it is built upon a set of axioms or self-evidential truths. In contrast, the theories in other sciences such as the Newtonian laws of motion in physics are only based upon experimental evidence or observations and can never really be proven true, can they?
So what's an axiom?
An axiom is an assumption that any mathematical system relies on. They are known as self-evidential truths.
Oh, so anything known to be true.
Yes.
Is maths based on this thing called an axiom?
Yes, maths is based on truths. Truths of lines, shapes, and even simple mathematical equations that can be repeated. Axioms usually have 4 criteria.
Was that 4, sir?
Yes, it was. The first is simplicity. This is evident of, say, 2 straight lines or on a basic equation such as 2 plus 2 equals 4.
What's the second, sir?
The second is consistency of, say, patterns like the Fibonacci pattern. You all should know that the Fibonacci pattern, right?
Yes.
The third is fruitfulness, which is how relevant or purposeful something actually is. An example of this is, say, a shape like a triangle that is formed by 3 basic lines. And the fourth and final criteria is known as independency of, say, a right angle triangle being one of the only triangles with, say, 90-degree angles.
Okay, what about science? Is that always true?
No, it's not. Science is usually based on observations.
Okay, so how is knowledge created in maths?
Well, maths is based on mathematical induction or something specific applied to something more general, like a formula.
What kind of formula?
Well, the Pythagoras theorem, of course. If I know what a squared and what b squared are, then I can determine what the hypotenuse of h squared is. This is the same if I know that the hypotenuse and say what b squared are. I can use this information to work out what a squared equals.
That's cool, but how is the knowledge created in science?
In science, deduction is most commonly used. Science outcomes based on theories. For examples, a deduction of science is that acids will react with metals. Therefore, sulfuric acid is an acid and magnesium, and therefore is deducted or deduced that magnesium and sulfuric acid will react in experimental techniques.
So how else do they differ?
In science, we rely on theories such as the theory of equilibrium, where we believe that if we change the condition of the equilibrium with things such as temperature or, say, heat, then the reaction we account for this change and will go back to its original equilibrium. Science cannot always be proved, and it is only relied on via observations. However, with maths, it is different. If I was to go down to the grocery store and to buy 3 loaves of bread for $3 each, then of course it would cost me $9, wouldn't it? This is clear. This is a clear stated fact and is not an interpretation or assumption made.
So what would you say about these two areas of knowledge?
Well, as a professor, I think that the basis for knowledge is different for science and maths. While maths is based on truth, science is based on observations. While maths uses mathematical induction, science uses deduction and deductive reasoning, and while the answers in maths can be replicated, the answers in science cannot.
Was that the bell I just heard?
Yes, it was. And yes, you may all go now. Thank you.